Hello guys, how you doing? So we're back here with the Digital Marketing Show. Today we've got a very special guest. We've got Landon Shaw. He's from Culture Marketing and Digital Agency, and they build and scale brands. They are experts at building marketing ecosystems for optimized web conversions. Mate, how are you doing today? Let's just bring you here. Hold on. Ah.
Hey, what's going on?
How's things? All good?
Doing
Geez, what's going on here? There you go.
here we are.
Now we're
How are you?
talking. Pretty good, mate. Pretty good. Thank you so much for making time to be here with me. It's so important to have talented people just like you sharing, your secrets, how you get there, how you got there, and what you guys been doing as well. So it's very important to us for our community, for the people that are just starting, and the people that are also, doing their thing, but they want to become a lot better at what they do. So I really appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely, I love it.
So cool. So let's get started. So I wanted to have a little bit of background of what you guys do nowadays. We had a little bit of conversation. It's super exciting. So if you could just share that with the audience as well, that'd be amazing, man.
Yeah, sure. So I'm co-founder of Culture Marketing, and we scale brands, mostly e-commerce brands, but I also have personality brands that I service as well. We build full-on marketing ecosystems. So just kind of how I explained it to you earlier, we catch people on Facebook, we make sure that they see us on Google, and then we get them from our website to give us their email so that we're following up with all the emails. So we just create an ecosystem where if they purchase a product, they're going to get sent an email, hey, your product's been shipped, thank you so much for your order. And at the exact same time, they're going to get that same video on Facebook with a little twist of, hey, and just in case you haven't checked out our emails, make sure you keep posted on emails from us, and that helps us get white labeled into their inbox and all these different tricks just to make sure that website conversions are imminent, basically from the first contact, scraping all the meat off the bones, basically.
That's amazing. So in terms of, the magic, like for a lot of people that don't understand how you actually do all that, I guess a lot of that would be through retargeting as well, through Facebook and maybe some other platforms as well. So do you want to walk us a little bit through how the magic happens in the background? That's amazing. And to be honest, like, sorry to cut you off, like it gets me very excited because I had a different guest here. And we were just talking about how important it is to have a very personalized and highly targeted campaign where, you're talking to the person and, they're like, oh, okay, well, they know that I got the email. They got me to check the mail. Oh, the email is there. Do you know what I mean? They're like, gee, those guys actually know what's going on. They see you guys as professionals, and that's why you guys are killing it. So super, yeah, happy to be having this chat to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to share any kind of information that will help anybody out there. So basically, the secret sauce is just tracking. It took such a long time to figure out how important tracking was and how important, from UTM tracking, just through Google Analytics, you're making sure your Facebook is tracking everything properly and all of your events are firing correctly. There's just so much technical work behind it, especially if you have a store with a ton of SKUs. So like some of our brands have just a couple of products. Some of our brands have over 1,000 SKUs. And
Wow.
so making sure we know where people are going and what they're looking at. If we're running a store for, like, let's say just skincare, and we have aloe vera and we have face wash, the people who are going to our store for face wash are definitely different than people that are going to our store for aloe vera or baby cream, you know what I'm saying, like baby rash cream. So we have tracking based on people visiting specific products, where we take the ID from the pixel and create conversions based on people who have visited specific groups of products, not just individual products, to make sure that our campaigns are running specifically to those people. So exactly what you said, having it personalized is super important. So that kind of tracking is super important, especially as obviously it comes to retargeting. And yeah, I mean, that's really the secret sauce. It's not that complicated. And once you get past that conversion, the tracking, once you have the tracking down pat, that's when it becomes so much more obvious to you. You can see, wow, these people are doing this ad is doing this ad copy is doing this, and you can optimize and kind of tweak as you go.
That's awesome. So do you have something that you offer to the clients where they can see the whole picture, something like Funalytics, or something along the lines where you've got like a mapping of how everything is working?
We do a lot in Google Sheets,
Yep.
especially for our internal teams, but we try to use things like Wicked reports to put together bigger, more obvious reports for people. Yep. And basically, we don't offer that much numbers for our clients, especially most of them are really busy day to day with their stuff. And as interested as they are, we usually have just a really clean sheet. We do reporting every Friday, so they get Thursday to Thursday reporting. And then on a monthly basis, we connect with our clients, or our account managers will connect with our clients. And it's usually followed with a video from either me or my co-founder or one of our head account managers about what's been going on in the entire month and what we're planning for next month, and what we're kind of forecasting based on events that are coming up, so we can have different email campaigns and different product launches that they might be having going on. So
nice. So just to have an idea, like for that kind of stuff that you guys do, how would the onboard look like, and how long would it take?
So the onboarding process, it starts from obviously first contact in the entire sales process, and then as soon as we fire the gun and say, okay, this is time, we're gonna agree to this, we send over the contract, they sign it, they fill out all the information, we get them uploaded into our payroll. From there, we give them a 14-day kind of, we under promise and over deliver. So we say 14 days, and it totally depends on where they are. So we have big clients that have never had their Google accounts opened. So that means they don't have any Google ads. They don't have anything going on there. So we have to kind of start that from scratch, and that will kind of maybe prolong the process. Some people have Google Analytics totally messed up. They don't have access to it. Their last client had it, or their last agency had it, and no one knows the password. So we have to start over with Google Analytics. Now we don't have any tracking on Google, YouTube, and we have to start from scratch there, not only with building all that out and connecting all of it with a merchant center and everything like that, but now we have to actually build up all those audiences again. That could take a couple weeks. So we try to keep it within 14 days. We have a checklist of everything that we need to do and that we need from them. Make sure that we're over communicating across the whole process. And really, it's just like, hey, we need all of your images. We need all of your videos. We need all of your creatives. We need to set up how exactly you want to go through the copy process. So we have sheets where we are putting in copy ourselves, and they go through and approve or deny and add comments. So once we get all that dialed in, which could really be just within a week, really what takes a long time is kind of writing the emails as we create out of flows. So it depends also on like the platform. So like our email team is like, hey, we need to write these flows and these flows and these flows. We have our own templates. We want to make sure that we're going back and forth. A lot of brand owners are really, they care a lot about the words that are going out. So we take some time to go through that with them. Facebook's pretty quick. It's just, we need your images, we need your creatives, and we need to make sure that you're okaying this copy. And so, yeah. We give it 14 days to make a long answer.
That's super cool. Yeah, I completely understand. Like, it will differ like from one business to another. Some are more ready. Some they haven't even got an account sometimes, and then you need to create everything from scratch with Google Analytics and all that. I'm actually an email guy. That's what I do for my business, right? So I create email sequences with my team, and we use ActiveCampaign, to trigger the email sequence and all that stuff. And I just had a meeting with a client, and we actually automated the entire process using ActiveCampaign to go from the acquisition from the client itself all the way to the client signing the contract, and that was for real estate. And it was very interesting. It was super cool. So I'm very interested to know a little bit more about the email stuff, like the email side of things. Like, how do you guys actually do it? Like, what does it look like, and also what programs do you guys use? We
are strictly on Klaviyo. I have used other platforms like a little bit of ActiveCampaign, a lot of ConvertKit, actually, you'd be
Cool.
surprised, and a small amount of MailChimp, which I'm not a fan of, but
Nah, definitely not.
Yeah, so we're on Klaviyo basically because like the majority of our clients are e-commerce,
Cool,
and
cool.
so the process really from putting it on the conveyor belt till when it gets out is
Yeah.
we have our templates. So we come up with exactly from headline to headline to headline to headline, how many days, when do the discounts start, what's the purpose of each email, and the links that we're sending them to. And then from there it goes to the copywriters, and the copywriters write out each email, make sure that they're all coherent, cohesive. And then from there it goes over to the client. The client approves or denies. We kind of work together on like hammering out the details of the email. Usually comes with a kind of explaining the process of the email, and also that like people aren't going to get the 10% and then the 15% if they bought with the 10%. We're going to make sure we're excluding the people we need to exclude throughout the flows. And then once they've approved all of that, then we get our designing up into Klaviyo. They also have their templates. If we're starting out with a brand, then we're kind of building it as we go, and I'm a little bit more involved in that process because that's where like branding comes. So I'm looking at their website, I'm looking at their branding guidelines, and then we're coming up with the templates of the emails from there. And that also comes with a lot of creatives. So we go over to the Facebook team and say, hey, we need all those creatives, and then we get them all, and then from there it's a kind of a presentation to the client. Hey, this is what each email looks like. This is what's going out. This was the purpose of it all. And these are the people that we're going to target. This is the people that we're going to exclude throughout the process, and basically all the different conditions that can happen within an email flow. And they say, okay, great. Now we just turn it on.
That's awesome. I love it. Super straightforward, right? Like the way that you explain everything, I really love it. Very straight to the point. So with your clients, are they usually on Shopify? Where do they host their e-com?
Shopify, definitely Shopify. I've worked once on BigCommerce, and I think everyone, no matter what your expertise is, your tools are your tools, and if you have a different weighted hammer or like a different, it's going to take you a while. We just don't deal with it. We just like, if you're not on Shopify, we pretty much discount you. We haven't like come across a client that's been so big that's not on Shopify already that we've been like, oh, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. It's just not worth our team's time to have to go through and figure that out. That was a mistake I learned actually early on in the creation of our marketing agency. Is a brand that I took on that was on BigCommerce, and I was learning about all the it's pretty similar, but on a larger scale with a team as big as we have now, which isn't very big. It's more than just me and my business partner. We stick with Shopify, Klaviyo, and that's pretty much how we work.
That's awesome. So just to have an idea of a campaign, like starting from the beginning all the way to like not the end, I guess, but it's a continuous thing. But like how would you structure? As in like just a very bird eyes view, like just so we can have an idea of the work that you guys do. With like, let's say, so you onboarded the client, and then how would one of your clients' marketing strategy look like?
Well, the first thing we would do is obviously throughout that process, we would have audited their Facebook, Google, and email. So it kind of depends. This can get really long because it's Facebook and Google and email. But I guess I'll start from where my mind starts. It's like Facebook. First thing we do, we know, kind of we get to understand their unit economics first and foremost. That's one thing that I notice a lot of people don't really talk about. It's the most important thing if you're running ads, because you're spending money and you have to know down to the penny how much money you can spend before you're past the break-even point, and you got to turn it off because now you're wasting money unless you're testing or doing other things like that. So the first thing we do is understand all the unit economics and decide, okay, how are we actually going to run our cold, warm, and hot campaigns on Facebook? Then we launch right away. We start testing everything that we've not seen already tested in the accounts within their creatives, their copy they're already using, and launching their best performing ads and ad sets just to start revenue coming in from Facebook. And we start from there. So it's automatic testing before we start really uniting everything. And then Google, obviously, it's just kind of looking at, well, what's working? What do they not have set up yet? Most people don't have a lot of retargeting set up in Google, and I don't know if it's because a lot of people don't. I don't know why, but for some reason, a lot of the things we first start off in is like an RLSA campaign, some kind of retargeting, shopping, or search campaigns, low bottom of the funnel shopping campaigns, and then in email, the first thing we start off with is post purchases, abandoned carts, and win back series, and then 2-time repeat buyers and beyond, and then that's pretty much how we started out. I can go deeper into any of those. You might be more interested in email, so I can go deeper into like what it is that we actually do.
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
And more interested, like, as well, to know how do you guys collect the emails itself as well? Like that's something that I'm interested about. Yeah, is it like funnels? Is it like through Facebook itself?
Well, we test things out. So this is why it's so important to have all of this together in one house, because a lot of that comes from Facebook. And so we experiment depending on like the nature of the brand, how big their presence is online. We'll start talking to their social media team and saying, hey, this is some stuff you could be doing. These are some small contests you can be doing. These are some small ways in which you could be getting emails for free. So we talk to them first and foremost. The next thing that we do is we start like, okay, do we have an ebook? Do we have some kind of DIY blog? Is there something that we can give away for free that people are going to see the value in giving up their email for? Then we'll run low page post engagement campaigns. We'll run low spending conversion campaigns optimized for lead. We'll run some reach and traffic just to see what we can get from basically like opt-in campaigns to get people into getting their email. So those are the first ways we go about it on an external level. On the internal level, we do exit intent pop-ups. We do slide-ins. We do like spin wheel, like, hey, get a prize, do that. We do all that fun stuff. And then also, a lot of people don't know, but Klaviyo just came out with some new ways of doing pop-ups where you can actually target people based on how they've interacted with your site. So if they're a second time, if they've come for the second time and they've not purchased, you can say, hey, get this 15% off coupon sent right to your email. And then depending on where they get that, they'll get a specific email flow. So if we send them to a blog on organic social, they're going to get a pop-up that says, hey, get this 50% off, blah, 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 blah. It's their second time on the website. So they're likely to take it. And then they're going to get sent through a sales campaign for that product. So we just set that up for one of our brands selling. They just launched an aloe vera product. We have some blog posts up there. They're syndicating it across all social platforms. So people are coming to the blog. Now we have an opt-in form that comes up, exit intent pop-up, and we're getting emails through there. And then they're going through a 5-email sequence of education, a little bit more education than the blog gave, and then also some sales copy, and then a stomp down of 10% off and then 50% off. And we're going to probably add a 20% off to the people who haven't purchased within like 3 days after that, just to see if we can get squeeze a little bit more conversions out, because right now it's not converting at the level we thought it would. So just some of the things that we do throughout that process. But that's basically how we get people into the funnel. So that could be running blog campaigns, like campaigns to the blog from Facebook, and then also just a lot of organic social. So it's really just like a big team effort. And that's how we get people on the list.
That's awesome. I love it. And in terms of content itself, like, you get your customers. I mean, you mentioned blog, of course, but how with the blogs itself, do they usually just get one product? Do they get a segment or like a group of products that work well together? And do you use much funnels as well, like to promote products?
We've tried funnels. We haven't been using them lately because we've been kind of hyper focusing in on our kind of conveyor belt, we call it. Like our conveyor belt is just like a strict system that can be handed off to people. So not a lot of funnels. What was your first part of the question?
With the blogs, like if they create blogs, you mentioned that they do, but it's more like, is it one product, or is it a series of products that really interact well together, or like things like that?
So most of our clients do educational blogs, and then they do mostly sales blogs, where it's usually one product that they go really deep on, the problem that it solves, and towards the end they'll say, hey, this product does this, exactly everything we talked about, it solves all those problems. If you want to check it out, here's a link to the product. And then they'll try to leave and they'll get that exit intent pop-up. So it's usually one product blogs.
And with the funnel, you were saying that you didn't have, you tested, but what happened?
We were giving away a product. So we were kind of doing the ClickFunnels tripwire into the, pay for this, just shipping, and we'll give you the product for free. And it just wasn't converting.
Any reason you reckon? Like,
it probably had to do with the attention that we gave it. We were just kind of testing out, experimenting with it. And other than that, it just kind of fell by the wayside, I guess. No particular reason, like anything against ClickFunnels. It probably was just our execution of it.
Yeah. Cool. That's interesting. And how do you guys do your client acquisition? Because you guys are just masters of all the platforms like ads and all that stuff. So how are you guys doing that? Like, do you guys have blogs as well? Do you use funnels for yourself? How does it work?
We've actually never run any paid advertising. And
oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We had close connections. So my business partner and I started out with another agency.
Yep.
And so we kind of learned all of the ins and outs and the backs of how it all worked. And we kind of helped them grow from the ground up. We were kind of their first onboarding, and that's where we trained and learned, and we were groomed there. And now they're doing really well. They're really big. And so we understood the way that you get your clients. One of the best ways is word of mouth, right? So the number one thing that we're preparing for with all of our clients as soon as they get on is the best experience ever, so they can't help but tell their other business friends about us, right? So the more higher level players you get, the higher level kind of surroundings you'll get. And we also understand people want to do favors for their friends. So especially if let's say, okay, so I'm a client and I really like these guys, they're crushing it for me, I want them to do that for somebody I look up to. They'll kind of go up the ways and say, hey, this can really help you. And that's happened a few times. And so we understand the power of that. So we're always waiting for those moments where we're doing something really, really awesome, really extraordinary, that we can say, hey, if you have any referrals or this or that, we'd love,
to talk to them and stuff. Yeah.
So we've taken that route, and it's almost like an endless stream where you don't need much as long as you're focused on that from the beginning. And it's not just good for getting sales, but it's really good just for your client experience and everybody else in the process when stuff is that streamlined. And we're still working on it. I mean, things aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but especially because we're all remote. But that's been our main sales cycle. So the other part of it is also, once you get to the point where you've worked with the brands we have, like we've worked with Disney, we've worked with Cat, we've worked with Discovery, by actually getting contracted to open up stores for them and sell. Some of them have been print on demand stores, some of them just physical warehouse products. But once you have that kind of clout and authority, and someone stumbles upon your site through either a podcast like this, it becomes oh, wow, well, then people are actually starting to fill out our forms. I remember the first time somebody filled out a form on our website, I was like, wow, we don't drive traffic to it. I had to go to Google Analytics and see wow, people are actually getting to this thing. We're not advertising it at all. It's just I think the proof is in the pudding. And once you start creating results like that, it just kind of ripples,
Yeah.
I love this thing. Let me tell my friend about it because it brings me joy, and it just kind of spreads that way. And I think eventually we will run paid ads. We will. It depends on where we want to take our business. So we love getting really deep in brands, almost like it's our own brand. We started it. Some of our deals are equity deals, and that's how much we love brands. So whether we want to go deep or wide is still yet to be, discussed and it's still out in our future. But yeah, that's a long-winded
That's
explanation
awesome.
of
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's a beautiful thing that you've got options and you can choose what you want to do. And organic traffic's so good because most of the time they already come very warm. They already like know what you guys are about, and it's a lot easier to like talk to them. There's not much objections, and you're not wasting your time as well. So I love that. Um, we will be wrapping up soon. One question that I actually have two questions, but the first question is. What do you see coming up as in terms of like trends? And both questions are really around the crisis that we are going through right now. So with everyone working from home, and we've got like some problems with the delivery for some of the goods due to the planes, and some countries like I'm in Australia, and the country is pretty much shut. Like we can't leave the country. Nobody can come to the country. So how is that affecting you guys? And what sort of trends do you see happening after we go past this like turbulent time?
Yeah, it's hard to say. And, I've listened to so many discussions like this, and I've heard so many discussions like this in the circles I run in and others. And, the things that I'm hearing and the things that I'm seeing and that I feel are true are one, people are still spending money online. Online went through a very short dip, and we've been coming back better than ever, especially because we're adapting to the situation. And so, one trend that's happening right now, especially with all of our products that relate to this, is the at home angle. So, or the immunity angle, right? So, we have like supplement companies that we're saying, hey, now's the time. Are you worried? Get your immunity boosted right now. So, so there's like angles like that. One thing that's really big right now is getting people on your email list. So, especially if like I know we've talked about ClickFunnels, so I'll spend a moment on like funnels and traffic and building your lists. Like right now is the time to get people on your list by offering free things. So there's so many people out there, and one of my clients even as offering 60 days free to their thing, and they know like, oh, I can't help you specifically with your health and whatnot, but we're getting people on the list. And right now our biggest conversation is, well, we don't want to trick people into getting on the list and then saying, hey, now we've got that payment gateway, we're just going to hit them up at the end of those 60 days and say, okay, now it's time to pay. So it's like but nonetheless, we're getting emails on our list by this kind of atmosphere of generosity online, especially with digital goods. So like I have investing courses, I have courses on like church leadership and church growth, like for like the Christian church and like all over the world. Actually, we have a lot of people in Australia and Canada and England that subscribe to us. But those are some trends I'm seeing after COVID-19 calms down. All I can say is that there's going to be a heightened, for me and my team, we're getting ready for a stronger grind on email and SMS, right? Like there is so much real estate right now online, and people are consuming content so fast. What I'm seeing is that people are going through it way too fast. They're not having a chance to really like digest things. And so while we're getting conversions really quickly, we want to make sure that we're like really catching these people and cultivating a relationship with them. So while everything's going really well on the social side, we're making sure that the problem of getting into the spam box is being allocated by either hitting them on Facebook or sending them a text. Hey, we noticed you haven't seen an email in a while. Like, go check your email. And so it's like the SMS and email flow is something that we're starting to focus a lot more on. Even right now with campaigns to keep revenue rolling, we're just sending more emails in general. So it's not that insightful, but it's
No. That's huge. Like I completely agree, and I think with the SMS, like it's definitely the next thing because, as you mentioned before, emails, like people are just giving their emails away, and they're receiving so much, that it just gets lost in there. And then if you have the SMS to guide them and be like, hey, we sent you an email, go check, or even what you guys do with the retargeting. Like, I think that's fantastic. It's a great idea. And I haven't actually heard about anyone doing what you guys do with the retargeting, like, to remind them to check emails and stuff like that. So yeah, I learned so much today, man. That was freaking amazing. I believe that you are giving free assessment for people if they have the website, they have e-com. Is it exclusive for e-com?
No, we do info products as well. So if you sell courses online and your whole world is like ClickFunnels, like we do dive into that as well. So yeah, if you go to Culture Marketing, CULTR marketing.com, you can just fill out the form at the bottom, just gives us a little information about you. And we'll actually give you a video audit of all of your marketing efforts, not just your website, but like we'll actually look at we can sneak into the back end and see what's going on with your Google, what's going on with your Facebook, and we might, what is ClickFunnels funnel hack? We might email hack you a little bit and kind of give you some audits on what we notice going on with your marketing ecosystem.
Amazing, mate. This is crazy. Like, for free. That's awesome. Too easy. Thank you so much, Landon, to be here in the show. Take some time to be here. I know you're busy, man. You guys are doing an amazing work, like so beautiful. All the companies, all the branding, all the stuff that you're doing. I love the kind of campaign that you're doing. That it's so personalized. Providing the experience, to the customers. So, mate, keep going. I'm like definitely following you and seeing what you guys are going to be doing in the future. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Luis.
Cool, mate. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Oh, brother, that was awesome.